You don't have a willpower problem, you have a missing piece of information. Is your struggle really a lack of discipline, or is something else going on? It's my belief that it's nothing to do with discipline, and actually these two factors we're going to talk about today are far more important for helping you to achieve your health and fitness goals, and most importantly, sustaining them. The two key considerations then are awareness and capacity. What these two things mean then: awareness, do you really understand what is happening within you? Are you aware of your internal environment, your thoughts and your feelings? Because many people aren't. They think that they need more willpower. They think they need more discipline. They think, I always quit diets, I can never continue. And so they're not aware of the real problems underneath. And therefore, all of the solutions they look for are typically ineffective. If you recognize that you use food and alcohol or not exercising because of a desire for relief or for comfort or in order to regulate your nervous system, then you have a better, more realistic awareness of what is going on within you, which then means you can start to look in the right places. Without this awareness, people are often trying repeatedly the same things around willpower, around discipline, around effort, and never making the progress they want. And so learning more about what's going on within us and our awareness of our own thoughts and feelings and emotions and the lives that we live is absolutely vital when it comes to improving your health and fitness. The second consideration then is capacity. People can be highly aware but have low capacity. Now this might look like a difficulty saying no. This might look like struggles with sleep or stress or overthinking. All of these things will increase your capacity or reduce your capacity. We use the bottle analogy because everybody has a finite amount of capacity and things that they can do. This capacity will be impacted by a lot of things, including your past history. It's also worth mentioning that people can have capacity in some areas but not in others, which is a topic we'll discuss more in future videos. Because this isn't saying you have a low capacity across every area of your life. But if you're struggling with your health and your fitness, then that is proof that you don't have the necessary capacity in that area to be effective. Because if you did, you'd already be achieving the goals that you desired. One thing to consider then is what quadrant you are in. So there are 4 options. The first one is high capacity and high awareness. The people I'm working with are not here because if they had that high capacity, they would already be doing the things that they needed to do. There are also people who are low capacity and high awareness. So people who have lots of awareness of their internal environment and things going on in their lives, but they then have a low bandwidth with which to action those things. There are other people who are low awareness but high capacity. They typically aren't the people that I would work with because they are people who aren't aware of their internal environments, their thoughts and feelings and their emotions, but they do have a high capacity when it comes to managing their health and fitness. So this typically looks like the people who are highly regimented and effective consistently with their food. They might be obsessed around their exercise. What you typically see with this group are people who then struggle with burnout. So they may look successful externally, but internally they're struggling. So these typically aren't people who are working with me. We also see people who are low capacity and low awareness. So this is typically the people who are really overwhelmed, who have loads on their plate, who just aren't sure where to start. And once you begin to understand where you are, you can then start looking for the right solution, as opposed to just trying harder and more discipline and more willpower, which for everybody who's talking to me hasn't worked so far, and so an alternative is needed. As I mentioned, these are the 2 groups that I'm working with. I know what to do, but I can't do it, or I have so much going on, I'm not sure where to start. Once you really understand where you are, you can then look at the right tool to help you moving forwards. It's not a case of knowing more. You don't need more energy. You don't need more things to do because you have a finite amount of capacity. You're not able to do lots more things. So we have to work on improving both awareness and especially capacity. That's what we're talking about here. In the next video, I'm going to talk about how this works across different areas, because a lot of the women that I work with have a lot of awareness and capacity around their work and their family, and therefore they struggle within their health and fitness. And once we understand how this works across our whole lives, we can then see the specific next steps that we need to take. I hope to see you there.